part of Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, adjoining the regional capital Nanning. To get to Qinzhou, it's about a 2-hour drive from Nanning Airport.
我们现在已经到青州了，看到我们这个海豚了没有？
That is my first dolphin sighting. Awesome! So I'm on the way to Qinzhou and I've been told that I finally reached because that's the symbol of the city, and hopefully I'll be able to catch a sighting of some of the dolphins at Sanyang Bay and see what else this port city has to offer. Welcome to Travelogue. I'm Michelle Lean. Much like getting to know a person, in order to get to know a city, you have to first discover its roots. So I head over to the old part of town. Originally, Qinzhou was called Shongshuo. It was first called Qinzhou 1,400 years ago, and the name has stuck ever since. Oh, look at the rain. You know, Dr. Sun Yat-sen once had plans to make Qinzhou the second largest port city in China. Nowadays, well, it's not as famous as other ports such as Qingdao. It's still a place that I hear is very diverse and has plenty to offer. And my first experience of this city is the subtropical oceanic monsoon climate. While I originally planned to avoid the peak rainfall periods between June and August, it seems I've managed to catch the leftovers of the rainy season anyway. So I decide to spend some time indoors and head over to the former residence of a local national hero. Li Yongfu was a Chinese soldier and commander of the Black Flag Army, a group of bandits that were predominantly made up of ethnic Zhuang soldiers who rode with black-colored command flags, hence the name of the group. The residence called Sanbaotang was commissioned by the Vietnamese king of the time as a gift to Liu in recognition of his success in battle on behalf of Vietnam. The building is a remarkable example of Qing dynasty architecture, and walking through the courtyards and halls, you'll find national treasures spread throughout the compound, as well as some Western influence I assume he got from the French armies he defeated. This house is really something. Definitely worthy of a Chinese national hero, don't you think? Now, Li Yongfu is a local to Qinzhou, something the people here are really proud of. And he's best known for the battles that he fought against the invading French armies for Vietnam in the late 1800s. Check this out. But, you know, beauty aside, because of his status and military background, he was also a really cautious man. So you'll find a lot of secret tunnels and underground passages and rooms within his house that lead to the outside. If you come here, check this out. Do you hear that? That's really hollow. It means that there's a secret room downstairs. And in the past, the entrance to this passageway used to be covered by a fake wall. Nowadays, you can just, walk inside and take a look. Can I get some light? I hear that aside from Li Yongfu, another national hero had a residence in town. He too fought against the invading French armies on behalf of Vietnam. So I take a walk over to see his place. Feng Zichai was originally a bandit, but he later became a general in the imperial army of the Qing dynasty. In 1867, he established himself in Nanning, from where he fought off opposition forces that were a threat to the Qing Empire in southern China and Vietnam. 2 years after retiring, Feng Zichai rejoined the army and was put in charge of a mainly Zhuang force with whom he won many battles. His residence was built in 1875, and he stayed here until the eve of the Sino-French War in 1884. You know, I was always under the impression that courtyard homes within the same town and province always had a similar design or layout. But compared to the one we were seeing earlier, it's very different. The one earlier was built vertically with open spaces in between, and this one is built horizontally with the open spaces on the outside. So it's quite interesting to see the differences. The locals tell me that there's something in the Chin River that's of great importance to them. And no, it's not a local Loch Ness monster. Okay, now I'm pretty sure that most people know that China is really famous for its porcelain. But a less known fact is that its pottery is also really great. And there are 4 places in China that are especially known for it. Sichuan, Yunnan, Jiangsu, and here in Guangxi. This is the stuff that they produce. Isn't it beautiful? Look at that. But what exactly makes it one of the 4 best in China? Well, I need to find out. And who better to ask than the masters themselves? I meet 2 professional sculptors who make Nising pottery using the clay from the Chin River. Armed with some information about this 1,300-year-old earthenware, I head downstairs to the factory to take a look at how the Chin River's unique red-white clay combination is crafted into decorative pieces and household wear. One of the best things about Nising pottery is how malleable the clay is. Unlike most clay, which is difficult to work with when creating a larger piece, the potters here are able to make extremely tall vases just on a potter's wheel. Though, as I soon found out, it also depends on your skill level. See, this is a piece you won't find everywhere. It's a Michelle Lean original, I suppose. This is modern art. Oh, okay. Look, I made a donut. Nising pottery is made up of a combination of 40% hard clay from the river west of Qinzhou and 60% soft clay from the river areas east of Qinzhou. Once fired up in the kiln at a high temperature, the pottery changes to an azure color with a marble effect of various pigments. It's something that the potter can't predict, so it's often a pleasant surprise to see what comes out of the kiln. Nising pottery is also known for its fine carving. The clay allows the artist to create effects on the pottery far beyond the range of many other types of clay. When it's being carved, instead of appearing like stick writing on a wet beach, crude with thick lines, Nising clay has a more plaster-like texture, which allows for very thin and elegant lines. Aside from appearance and ease of use, Nising pottery is a popular household item because it can withstand strong acids and keep your food or tea fresh, even in humid and hot weather.
It's also fairly inexpensive, at least the more common decorative pieces and teapots are. Now if you want something a little more special, they'll even custom make it for you. Okay, you gotta listen to this. This is tough stuff. It almost sounds like it's made out of metal. One more for the road. I head just over 50 kilometers northwest of Qinzhou for a brief escape to nature. Bajaigo, or 8-Village Ravine, is a valley area that stretches over 8 kilometers through the so-called 100,000 mountains of Gutai town. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive from Qinzhou, and when you arrive in this landscape of flora and fauna, surrounded by the lush greens of a diversified forest, you realize the drive was well worth it. You'll find easy hiking trails all the way through, so even if you're not a seasoned hiker, you'll still be able to spend some quality time in nature without too much pain. Now make sure you take deep breaths when you come. Bajaigo is nicknamed the natural oxygen bar, so for all you folks paying a hefty dime for an oxygen bar treatment, take a trip down here instead. After all, clean air should be free. The anionic oxygen content is about 65,000 units per cubic centimeter here, and while I'm not certain how much that actually is, I made sure I got a few lungfuls of it. People say that the best time to visit the forest and scenic area of Bajaigo is during summer, but I think this may be because not many people have visited in autumn. It's still really beautiful. Though I suppose the only disadvantage is that when you're constantly being taunted by the sight of the 40 freshwater lakes filled by the natural springs in the mountains, which you'd be able to swim in during the summer, but it's naturally far too cold now. Dr. Sun Yat-sen wanted to turn the deep waters of Qinzhou into the second largest port in South China. Today at the port, you'll find one of the largest statues in Asia of the respected leader. From the port area, I travel east to Sanyang Bay, the playground of the white Chinese dolphins. I'm told the months of October and November are when they come out to play, so keep your eyes peeled. Huh? Where? Right up there, look! Do you see those? That's what Sanyang Bay is known for, white dolphins. It's one of the few places in China where you can see them. Sanyang Bay is located on the southern side of the Beibu Gulf and to the east of Qinzhou Port, facing Beihai City across the sea. The area is known for its deep, cold waters, which attract the dolphins, and the abundant seafood, which attracts, well, both humans and dolphins. It's the only place in China where you'll be able to see these rare Chinese dolphins in the wild. The boats will take you out for a dolphin sighting, but the mammals are very well protected, so you won't be able to swim with them. It hasn't been overrun with tourists yet, so you'll probably find more seagulls out at sea than people. Where are you? It's a little bit hard capturing them on camera though, because they're just real quick. Everywhere right now, underneath, and you see all these little fishes like jumping about, and I'm taking that as a sign that there's a dolphin chasing them from behind. Oh, look, you can see it. It's right there floating in the water. Oh!
such spectacular creatures. I mean, they're like intelligent and they just, they're just beautiful.
With midday approaching, the dolphins seem to disappear. So I head back to shore and end up meeting a convoy of retired locals who are riding around Qinzhou together. I'm riding off with some old biker boys. These guys ride around Qinzhou together whenever they have the time, so they're pretty familiar with the roads around here. I'm relying on them to take me off the tourist track to a place which they tell me is more local. They're real nice. They just dropped me off at this temple by the sea, so we're gonna go and check it out and see what it's all about there. In Chinese, Fubo means to control the waves and tides. It's a status accorded to certain people who become revered as gods in death. This temple was named for the respected Eastern Han Dynasty general Ma Yuan, and the locals come here to pay their respects and worship him. As the evening draws close, I head over to a fishing village in Sanyang Bay, where I watch the fishermen prepare to put out to sea for the second time today. I've been told that they go out daily, once before sunrise, and then again just after sunset. It's a pleasant and relaxing time of day. The women and children sit at leisure on the beach, mending the nets to be used for tomorrow's fishing. Look at that. Expert hand. The children shy away from me a little. And no, it's not because I smell bad. I have a feeling it's because most of them don't understand what I'm saying. In most parts of Qinzhou, the children first learn to speak the local Guangxi dialect, which is a sort of Cantonese with a heavy local influence. Then they study Mandarin in school. Anyway, for now, they're a happy bunch of kids who get a kick out of using our cameramen to push their hammock.
After you're done dolphin watching at Sanyang Bay, don't just go home. There's plenty to do around the area. If you walk along the beach, you'll find these fishing villages, and you'll see the locals fixing up the nets, bringing in the catch of the day, and then when it's time again, going out to sea. See, these guys are getting ready.
Fishermen here supply seafood to the nearby restaurants and suppliers in Qinzhou City. Everyone plays a part, and while the kids are too young to go out to sea, that doesn't stop them from getting a little practice before they're of age. One thing you shouldn't leave without doing is eating the fresh seafood that has come straight from the sea in front of you. There's a large variety, and it's cooked to order, so it'll be fresh and steaming hot when it arrives at your table. But in order to enjoy the fruit of the sea, someone has to catch it. The fishermen are returning from their nightly catch. For the villages, it's the busiest time of the evening, and everyone chips in to help, bringing in the day's catch. In Chinese, the word for fish, yi, sounds like ample, and it's the case here, that the villages are better off when there's more fish. I don't want to get in the way, so I head back to the city. Qinzhou's proximity to Vietnam, but I find that this city, unlike those in the northern parts of China, has a more Southeast Asian feel. From the subtropical landscape and climate to the streets full of motorcyclists. You'll rarely see motorcycles in the northern regions of China, where there are more bicycles, so I was surprised to find such a big motorcycle culture here. After a good night's sleep, I head over to Dalu Village, a good 1.5-hour drive from Qinzhou. It's a small place that's nevertheless famous for its vast ancient building complex of Ming and Qing dynasty architecture dating from the late 1300s. The older villages are very proud of their homes, surrounded by trees that have stood here for centuries. For the kids, though, it's just an extension of their playground. Architecture aside, Dalu Village is also famous across Guangxi for its antithetical couplets. Traditionally, antithetical couplets are 2 verses of good wishes written on 2 vertical strips of red paper. The first or upper line is hung on the right side of the door, and the second, the lower line, on the left. It's a traditional art form that you'll find attached to the doors of homes, businesses, and temples throughout China. The couplets correspond with each other by sound, pattern, and meaning in both the words and the phrases. I'm told that the antithetical couplets are traditionally drawn from top to bottom on red paper because the color is considered auspicious in Chinese culture. While I don't understand the characters he writes, I can tell that his calligraphy is beautiful just from the brushstrokes. The couplets often reflect traditional values, though much like Chinese poems, the meaning, wit, and wordplay of antithetical couplets is often lost in translation. For thousands of years, it was a key method of teaching traditional Chinese. Nowadays, it's an art form that has almost 2,000 years of history. You won't see many tourists here at this time of the year. Instead, it's most popular in June, when the lychee trees are in full bloom, producing the sweet fruit for which the Guangxi region is famous. You know, Dalu Village is a pretty popular destination over the summer months, but, unlike most tourist destinations, everything's pretty much been left in its original state. So you'll find houses here that date back to the Ming and Qing dynasties that still look the same as they did in the past. Well, give or take the aging. Mountain is about 182 meters, but I don't think we'll really feel it that much because there are about a couple of scenic spots on the way up. Liufeng Mountain rises in the center of Lingshan County town beside the Mingke River. There are some 30 scenic spots on the way up, and my first stop is a temple built into the mountain. 你为什么这样磨石头？你为什么这样磨这个石头？
他们说这个摸了之后，我们开了光05年啊，一些老和尚还有西藏那2个活佛，开光之后呢，摸的人摸了之后啊，就会保佑你心想事成。
就怎么摸？
他只是呢，
有什么方法还是？
没有什么方法，他只是寻求一种心灵的寄托或一种灵感。
很冷。
有点冷。
This monk has just told me that it will bring you good luck if you just touch the stone, and most of it's a natural formation. Like right here is a dragon. Well, this is obviously being carved, but the words in front are actually pretty much in its original state with a little bit of work. Most of the sites at the Liufao Mountain were built by humans to show off their greatness. Not far from the top now.
Watch your step.
While climbing, you don't even realize that right next to you, on the other side of Liufao Mountain, is a bustling city. Well, not until you reach a high enough point anyway. But more than just a pleasant hike up the mountain, there are pavilions, caves, and temples here that date back to the Song dynasty. It seems Qinzhou has it all: adventure, culture, and history.
You know, when most people say that they've been to the Guangxi province, usually they mean Guilin, Yangshuo, and Longji. Rarely, though, do they ever say that they've been to Qinzhou. But I think that's exactly what makes it an authentic travel experience. The mountains and the seaside, and, well, if you're a lover of seafood, need I say more? Thanks for joining me on this trip with Travelogue. I'll see you next time. I'm Michelle Lin, reminding you to keep those bags packed.